Hi, this is Richie Hawtin, aka Plastikman, and you're watching Muno.pl.
Witam Was ponownie. Jesteśmy w studio Muno.pl na festiwalu Audioriver i jest tutaj teraz z nami nikt inny, po prostu Rysiu. Richard, welcome back.
Welcome back. Yeah, sure. Nice to be here again.
You played here last year in Audioriver, yeah? Did you enjoy that gig?
Yeah, honestly, if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't be back here. You know, I hadn't played in Poland very often, and last year at Audioriver, you know, we were really impressed by not only the production and the promoters, but just the people, and the whole festival was so cool. That it's really the reason we came back this year. When we first started the Plastikman tour idea, we made a list of the cities, and really, honestly, Poland was not even in the list of countries, because I don't play here very often. And after Audioriver last year, we were like, you know what? I think it would be really cool to go back there, and so we're really happy to come back. You know, especially Plastikman is not happening very many places, and I think it's special to happen here because, you know, don't take this the wrong way, but not everybody is coming to Poland. It's still a little bit opening up for electronic music. So we're happy to come and really do something that we feel really special about.
Yeah, today we've got you here as Plastikman, yeah? Last year you've been here as the Richie Hawtin, yeah? Tell me about your show. This is not only the music that you play, this is whole structure, whole production, yeah?
Yeah, actually structure is a good way to put it, because the show is a audio, lighting, video display design. So, you know, there's a huge team putting it together, but once we start, a lot of what you're seeing and feeling and hearing is controlled by me. So each time as I'm adding new drum patterns or modifying things, I'm not only changing the sound, but I'm changing what you're seeing, because the visuals actually are responding to the sounds that you're hearing. So you know, what we're trying to do is like make a really like full body experience. You know, I want it to be like pummeling and over the top and crazy, you know, and also different than what I do as a DJ. You know, I want people to go away and to be like, man, what the fuck was that? Even if they didn't like it, or they're not.
I've heard this opinion,
but
already.
That's what I want people to say.
It's already happened. I've heard that.
Good.
You're DJ also, right? And the DJ shows are completely different, yeah? Like music-wise and visual, yeah? When you DJ, you've got lots of people around you, yeah? You guys having fun, and as a Plastikman, you're pretty like mysterious, yeah?
Yeah, but I think, you know, you have to like look at what Plastikman has always been. Plastikman was the studio project where I went by myself into the studio, and in a way I didn't really care about you or anybody else. I did my music, I did what I felt, and then I released it to the world. So it was always an introverted, strange sound, which in a way was really very true to who I am. And so when we decided to do the Plastikman live show, I didn't want it to be like Hawtin DJ. I wanted it to be like me back in the studio. So what you're seeing is more like, again, a visual interpretation of the music. Sometimes you see me, but it's not about, you know, I'm at the heart of the experience, but it's not only about me, it's about the whole thing that comes together. Like going home and putting on sheet one. You know, I'm not in your house when you listen to sheet one, but actually I am there. You know, I'm kind of like in the corner. You can't see me, but I'm part of that experience because it's my album. And that's how we're trying to present it on stage.
So tell me, what changed in Plastikman since Sheet 1?
Well, you know,
Musically.
I think Plastikman continues to evolve as I evolve and grow and experience more. But I think the main thing that hasn't changed is that Plastikman was always about creating a moment, you know, a whole, you know, I don't want to use the word experience again, but like something nearly physical. You know, when you hear Sheet 1 or Spastic, or when you came to especially the original parties I was doing in Detroit in the early 90s that inspired Plastikman, we had massive bass, you know, like full-on lights and also full-on darkness. And I think that's hopefully what people experience tonight at the Plastikman live show. So it's this whole thing. It's more than just music. It's something that you're like, okay, you know, was it this or that? But you're just like, why was this different than the other things I normally see or listen to?
So this is what we got, yeah? This is your application,
Yeah.
And we've got, talk me through it, yeah? Explain it.
Well, right now it does nothing because the actual application only works when I'm doing a live show. And when I start my computers, anybody in the audience with that running, it turns on special pages. It's kind of like, it's like a program with a menu, but you don't have access to the menu. And when I'm playing, I can go through the menu and tell everyone's phone to do certain things. So there's a moment where I actually turn off my machines and a whole bunch of words appear on your screen.
Yeah, I had this. Yeah.
And this is actually, the people in the audience are then controlling the sound that you hear. They're
This
triggering.
is the message that you sent?
Yeah, well, this is another message. This message right here, you can see it, is a readout. So as I'm playing, it's telling you the beats per minute, it's telling you the song I'm playing, and it's just giving you a little bit more information, because the thing with DJs or electronic music, you know, you got these guys up there or girls, and they're doing this and they're like doing this, and it's like, what the fuck are they doing? Checking their email, you know?
Yeah.
And we wanted to give a little bit of information on here so that you feel a little bit more connected. And it's just something we wanted.
More interactions, yeah?
Yeah, it's like, you know, you see a drummer play, right? And the drummer goes like this, and then you hear a boom.
Yeah.
And they hit the cymbal and you hear ch. We don't have that. So this, for me, is that connection.
Okay.
And we want to develop this and make it stronger and experiment with it and see how it can create perhaps a better experience or a better interaction between you and I.
So
It's a big experiment.
this is like, as I said, you're known for pushing the boundaries, technological boundaries, and what's next?
Yeah, well, that's, you know, I can't talk about exactly what we're doing because, you know, it's always a secret, but we want to, you know, I'm very interested in, again, changing the dynamics between performer and audience. I think for the last, well, probably throughout history, there's always been a big gap between them. People come and they kind of like watch and listen and then they go home. And I think that could be an interesting, you know, experience or explosion when you start to like allow information to go back and forth. You know, especially with technology, perhaps the audience are doing something and it changes the way you're playing. And, you know, like when I'm a DJ, I watch the audience. And if they stop dancing, I try to play something to make them dance. Well, sometimes. And so that's my human senses that I'm using to change what my decisions are. Mm-hmm. And with the iPhone or technology, we're trying to use those different devices to give us new insight into what we might want to do or what we might not want to do, you know, at that certain instance.
Let's talk about Minus for a minute. How do you feel about your label at the moment?
I'm very proud with the label because right now my gang of artists and friends are starting to really take the next big steps into their own directions, their own careers. You know, we have a Marcool album coming out at the end of the year. We have a Marco Carola album coming out. We have an amazing Magda album. So, you know, we all started very close together. You know, I helped perhaps mentor or develop the sound. And now I'm actually, in a way, taking a step back and just watching all my friends become their own very individual identities and personalities. It's really amazing.
You're director, right?
Well, I'm always in the middle, directing, and they're asking me opinions. But I'm also having a little bit more free time right now. That's why I have time for Plastikman. But for Minus, when it comes to the music that's coming out and most of the marketing decisions and ideas, this comes from me, and that's what I love to do.
And you run the Minus from Berlin, yeah? You live in Berlin?
Yeah, it's in Berlin, yeah.
And Berlin, what was the reason for you to move?
I wanted to, I love Canada and Detroit, but I was traveling so many times back and forth every weekend nearly to come to Europe and play and DJ that I was getting tired sitting on planes all the time. And I wanted to be a bit closer to the larger group of people who were supporting the music and the label. And at that point, or even this point, Europe is the center of electronic music. America and Canada, South America, they all have scenes, Tokyo, but the amount of people, the amount of innovation, the amount of companies in Europe doing this, making this scene that we're all here, that's where they are. We wanted to be part of that. We wanted to also grow the company, develop our artists, and, do really cool shit.
Which moment was crucial for you to start making your own music? Do you remember the specific moment?
I used to DJ in this club in Detroit, and Derek and Kevin and Juan used to come down sometimes, especially Kevin, and he would bring down these acetates, like test pressings of inner city records, and he'd let us play them before they ever came out, and he would actually hey, try this out, and then he'd go back to the studio and then bring another version down, and it really inspired me that it was just some guy who was coming down and hey, check this out, and it was really personal. And I think that and also meeting Derek May very early on really pushed me to want to, take a chance at making music and becoming more than a DJ.
What's your next step? Not musical step for you?
Next musical or non-musical?
Not musical, non-musical.
I don't know. I think in a way I'm an ambassador a little bit for technology and for this whole scene because I've been in it for so long. I want to, as much as I have with Minus, develop new artists. I want to be around to help the new, younger generation understand some of the things about electronic music that are perhaps being lost right now. Things are moving so fast. I love the whole digital revolution of everything being on software, but I think it's really great when you can talk to people who have a longer perspective than you. Perhaps you've been into the scene for 5 years, so someone with 7 years is interesting to talk to. Me, I've been in it for 21 years, and I'd like to share those experiences because maybe it helps give younger kids new ideas, inspires them, and helps electronic music continue to develop.
We had you here last year as Richie Hawtin. Today we've got you here as Plastikman, and that all gigs were festival. Yeah? Same place, obviously, Audioriver. Yeah. And would you like to do some more intimate club thing in Poland?
Everywhere in the world, I play large and small clubs, so it's not uncommon to see me in front of 20,000 people or 200 people. In Poland, the last 2 years I've only been here, but I hope that I can come back and play here again and also play, maybe in Warsaw for a smaller group, a smaller club, more underground, and I have to do both. If I'm only doing, honestly, if I'm only playing small clubs for 200 people, I get bored after a while. But if I'm only doing, Plastikman, I would only get bored. So I try to keep it interesting for me. Because if it's interesting for me, I'm usually having fun and I'm inspired, and it usually makes a good gig, and then it's good for you.
You're probably tired,
A little bit.
aren't you? Yeah.
Well, we came from Muno.pl yesterday. We drove 9 or 10 hours here, and now we're driving 6 hours back to
You
Berlin.
drove here.
Yeah. And then we're driving right now back to Berlin, and I'm playing tonight in Berlin.
That's tough, huh?
That's my life.
How are you doing it?
I try to sleep whenever I can.
And you can sleep anywhere?
I can really sleep anywhere.
And that's a good skill.
No, I can sleep for like 1 hour, 20 minutes. If I get on a plane, I'm out. You know, it's after 20 years, you learn that. You know, the more, yeah, sometimes, okay, when you don't have any rest, you can also do really good gigs. But to, I think, be successful at music and entertainment and business, sometimes you need to like have a very clear mind, and you have to be focused, and you have to look not only at what you're doing right now, but also where that's going in 2 or 3 or 5 years. It's not always going to go that way, but I think it's really good to think that way. And so can't do that with not enough sleep.
Richard, can I call you that way?
Well, like my mom, go ahead.
Like your mom. Okay, like your mom. Richard, thank you very much for the interview.
No problem.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.